Live from Hollywood, California, it's the Nighttime Show with your host, Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Yowa!
Tonight we have our head writer, Matt Walker. I'm the voice of the Nighttime Show, and our very special guest, star of Mallrats, My Name is Earl, and Chance. Coming soon on Hulu, October 11th, Season 2 debuts, Ethan Suplee. And now, the host of the Nighttime Show. He gets the sprinkled donuts every donut day. Put your hands together for Stephen Kramer Glickman!
Hey, well done. Well done. Well done, Mike.
Have you ever been announced in that way before, Ethan?
Never. It was fantastic.
He's magical.
I feel that there is a huge audience somewhere losing their minds, freaking out,
Yes.
frothing. You know?
Absolutely.
Somewhere in Idaho, there's a group that's like,
Yes!
In Idaho, and all your neighbors who just heard that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
our neighbor's a big deal.
He has his own announcer in the
Holy
living
cow.
room. What's happening over there? We're so lucky that today we are in the home of Ethan Suplee. This is a beautiful house. What a beautiful
Stephen,
place.
what's the address here?
All right, the address, and we're sitting at a beautiful reclaimed. I'd say this is a reclaimed wood living room, dining room table, and which looks out on a gorgeous view of Los Angeles. Wow, Ethan, what a beautiful home!
Oh, thank you. My wife did all of this.
I was looking around. I was like, there's a lady involved.
Yeah.
Here. Yes.
Entirely my wife.
How long have you been married for?
We got married in 2006. We've been together since 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's amazing. Where did you guys meet?
We met when we were teenagers, and we've known each other for a long time. And one of our daughters was actually the flower girl at our wedding. So we had kids prior to marriage. We're going to hell. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
But we've known each other a long time.
Oh my God!
Well,
that's
to give you an
incredible,
idea
man.
of how tasteful it is here, you know how people say that guy's place could use a woman's touch. This is like 1,000 women's touches have gone on in here.
It's very well touched.
In fairness, we have 4 daughters.
Right.
Good.
So there's a
So you're
lot
outnumbered.
of women touching a lot of things in
Are
here.
you the only man in the family?
Yeah, and they cut my dog's balls off. So
No!
I'm the only man.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So you get to go to the bathroom for 12 seconds a day, and that's about it?
That's
Right.
right.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have like a man? We haven't gotten to see the whole house, but is there like a man cave or some sort of
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing in your man cave? Like, what's your favorite piece in there? Anything that
I've never really talked about this, but I have a collection of human skulls
what?
in my man cave.
No, you do not. Oh my God, that's amazing.
No.
That's where Matt's going after this.
I like seeing how long Stephen buys that sort of information.
Yeah, no, I'm
He's
in.
like, huh?
Because that sounds like something you would have.
Kind of sounds like something I would have.
You would go to necromance and be like,
I
"Give me
would.
human skulls," and then
I mean, I have a lot of weird. We had a lot of weird animal bones for a while in the house. We had a raccoon skull. We
I
had,
often fear you're going to get busted buying one of these things. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny to
I didn't know it was illegal.
Just
You know, one time I was
Can't
driving.
buy a human, sir. A dead human.
I was driving down the street. Matt knows this. I was driving down the street and I got pulled over for going through a stoplight. And the cop walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you know why I pulled you over?" I go, I don't know. He goes, "Because you went through that stoplight over there." I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He goes, "Also, you're not wearing your seatbelt." And I go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Also, you were talking on your cell phone." I go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Also, your tags are expired on the back of your car." I go, "Ooh, that's a lot of things, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, those are all bad things. Let me see your license and registration." Pull my license out, registration, insurance, hand it to him. And he goes, "Your insurance is expired." I go, Oh no. He goes, "And your license expired like 3 months ago." And I go,
This is a Subway Club
yeah.
card, sir.
"Yeah, these are all bad. It's all bad things."
These expired 8 years ago. What?
So he goes, "Please step out of your vehicle." I go, "Oh no, this is the worst." I get out of the car. He goes, "I have to search your car. Is there anything in your car I should be aware of?" I go, "No, there's nothing in the car." He goes rustling around. He pulls out a fake police badge. He goes, "What is this?" I go, "It's It's a prop. I'm an actor. I just did a movie. I played a police officer. They gave it to me. He goes, all right. Rustles around. He goes, what the hell is this? This is a collapsible baton.
Yeah.
How do you have a collapsible blackjack?
Right.
I go. I bought that on Hollywood Boulevard. He goes, I
doesn't
don't
make
care
it
where you
right."
bought it. It doesn't matter where you bought it. It's still illegal. You can't have this. And he goes, is there anything else in the car? I go, absolutely not. That's it. He reaches in the back and turns off my megaphone. I had a megaphone in the back seat, and just a siren starts going. And he goes, all right, sir, this car is being impounded, and you're going to be fined a lot of money. And I was like, well, okay. And I just had to stand there on the side of the road while they took my car.
I'm amazed you weren't shot and killed. Or taken to jail.
He could have killed me.
Yeah.
He's still not black. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
I loved your rationale.
Way to bring it
Back to Rio.
way to make it political, Matt.
I
No,
loved
that's
your
100%
rationale of I bought this on Hollywood Boulevard,
Yeah, that was the
reputable
point.
Hollywood Boulevard,
If
where
I buy
nothing
something-
illegal is done.
Right. If you buy something in a store, you shouldn't be able to get in trouble for it. That's how I feel.
Well, see, when
Anyway.
you said you bought it on Hollywood Boulevard, I'm
Yeah,
picturing like
I'm not picturing a
some
store
guy
either.
opens his jacket and he's got nunchucks and knives and batons and guns, and you went for the baton.
I've done that. I've done that too. But yeah, that particular one was I bought in a store. I think
I do
it
like
was
having
it was
those options,
illegal.
though, nunchucks and knives.
Illegal weapons are us.
I'm a baton guy. I think
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
giving those a
I'm
shot.
a baton guy. I'm kind of a baton guy. My lord. Oh wow.
I'm feeling the baton. I think
Yeah, sure. I need to protect myself from all those
from the cops.
from the cops these days. Hey, so Ethan, you were born in New York City?
Yes.
In New York City proper, or
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan.
On West 12th, 3 blocks from a hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
Traffic was that bad they couldn't get there.
My parents were hippies and thought home birth was fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Home birth just sounds messy.
Yeah, I can't imagine what home birth would be like. Having kids myself, I would never do that.
Yeah. But that's what they were into.
They were into it. Yeah.
Were they hippies like music and the hanging out with the smoking the?
I think
and
full
doing the whole thing?
blown, hippies. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Maybe
are they still hippies?
No. Now they're just old. I'm sure
Can't
they
be an old
still,
hippie.
they still have hippie hearts, but they're not. They're not still like marching in parades and smoking dope with flowers. They're
That was
sure
very
not.
poetic.
Yeah.
Actually, they still have hippie hearts.
Yeah.
But
Still
All
hippie
the,
hearts.
all
but
the
in the
hippie
parades.
activities have passed them by, I believe.
they still have hippie hearts, but those hearts need MRIs every now and then. So
Hey, that's okay. When did you grow up in New York City?
No,
Where
here.
did you grew up here?
Yeah.
So when did you guys move out here?
I was like 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you have very little,
Basically
few
native.
memories of
Yeah, I can't claim New York. Like I'm from New York. I can't
Oh,
do
from
that.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
So where in LA did
That's
you
how
go?
everybody talks.
In the Valley, Burbank.
Uh-huh.
Is that not how everybody talks?
No,
That's from New York.
But I can't wait for you to get beat up the next time you go there.
I'm from New York.
What's the irony is the guy who beats you up will sound exactly like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, probably.
He'll have taken offense to it.
Yeah.
You
Quit stereotyping.
What's the matter with you?
Vinny, hold my jewelry. I gotta beat this guy up.
So you grew up here in Los Angeles, or did you grow
Yeah.
up somewhere else? Yeah, in
Yeah.
LA.
In the Valley.
In the Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he just said he grew up in Burbank. Were you
in
not
Burbank.
paying attention
No,
on your own
I was.
podcast?
He was doing the thing.
I was
He
distracting him.
He was distracting me with voices. So in Burbank, did you have were there kids in the business that you were in school with? Did you know other kids that were in the biz?
Yeah, I went to school with a guy named Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh my
yeah.
god! Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
From
big-
my two
big fan.
dads.
That's right. Yeah. And the Wonder Years. He
My-
was on the Wonder Years.
My favorite, Suburbia. When he was
Oh,
in
yeah,
Suburbia.
yeah.
Oh, such a huge fan.
Yeah.
Loved him. And on the X-Files, too. He was great
Yep.
on X-Files back
Yeah.
in the day. He's been on a lot of stuff.
A lot
though.
of
and
stuff.
you guys have worked together in real life as well, I believe, right? Didn't you guys work on a TV show together at some point?
Yes, that's true. He came and did a few episodes of My Name Is Earl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I had
yeah.
forgotten
So
that.
what's
until
it
just
like?
now.
I'm very good.
Yeah,
I
he
do
was
my
actually
research.
awesome on My Name Is Earl. Bad
He-
Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must have been cool getting to work with someone you've known your whole life.
Yeah, that was fun.
Are there other guys that you've known a long time that you've gotten a chance to work with?
Kevin Connolly and I did a few movies together, and we were friends from the time we were teenagers. we did John Q together, and then we did another movie which never came out, but it was fun doing it with him,
Yeah, John Q was Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
right? Wow. Wow,
So was
that
it
must
like
have
a
been crazy.
high school of the arts, or was it just you guys were all in drama at a regular high school, or how did that work?
No, it wasn't High School of the Arts. It was just like
I think aren't high schools like in Hollywood and Los Angeles for the most part just all kind of high schools of the arts? I feel like they
I
would
guess
kind of
so.
be in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah, I mean now some of my kids did go to a high school in LA that was specifically for the arts, but it was like a heavy emphasis on fine arts, which would be like photography and painting and sculpture and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I think of. I guess it's also performing arts. But I am trying to dissuade all of my children from doing any performing arts.
Yeah.
So I push fine arts on them.
That's a
Yeah.
very good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this business is insane.
It's insane, and it's really rough for girls. I can't,
yeah.
I don't feel good about it's tough.
Yeah. I get that. Were you when did you get interested in acting? At what age?
My parents went to college in Pittsburgh, and they majored in drama at a college called Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie Mellon. That's where I went to school.
That's where he went to school.
Yeah. And they then did Broadway shows while being hippies.
So were they there with like
What?
Stephen Bochco and some of the big names that came through?
Yeah.
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 What shows did they do on Broadway?
George M. My mother was in The King and I.
Oh wow.
I think Oklahoma.
probably.
Yeah. Hair. Yeah.
It's possible.
That would have been too real, too method.
Godspell.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. The Fantastics.
Yeah.
A ton of Broadway shows. They met
so
doing
cool.
A Streetcar Named Desire in Summerstock.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
really know what Summerstock is. We don't have that out here.
I don't know what it is either, but I remember hearing about it
Yeah.
doing theater in Colorado. and I was
Summer
like,
stock is like where you get cast in the whole summer of shows. So they'll do like
okay.
4 shows. So in one show you'll play, Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, but in the next show you're
the
playing
Shoeshine Boy.
the Shoeshine Boy
Right,
in,
okay.
in
That makes
Oliver
sense.
Twist or something like this. So you're trading up and down from role to role throughout the summer, basically.
Yeah.
And that's usually how you end up in some of the worst productions in history.
Did you ever do like the great ones, like the good roles, and then get sick for the other ones?
No, I never did. I never did summer stock. I did tour the country with the worst musical of all time.
What was that?
It was called A Stoop on Orchard Street,
Yeah.
and it was a sequel to Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh,
and it
no.
was
Wow.
fucking horrendous. It
But
was.
that's how you
that's-
came to Los Angeles. That's how we met, and that's how you started doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, because
Because you were staying at a motel attached to a bowling alley in Canoga Park.
so glamorous, so glamorous, Ethan. Just, I had quit
Yes.
my job at Hollywood Video to back in the day to go on tour and tour with a crappy musical, and then it took me all over the country. And in the end, it was Canoga Park Bowling Alley.
Wait, where was Hollywood Video?
Hollywood Video was all over the place because I worked at Blockbuster Video,
Okay.
and then they also had
Yes,
another
I
brand called
remember
Hollywood
now.
Video.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There were a couple of video stores that stuck around, like Vidiots. Do you remember them?
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that, but I remember
And
Hollywood
there's the one
Video.
that had like the missiles.
Yeah.
Rocket
in
Video.
the
Rocket
window.
Video.
Yeah.
where we did stand-up. Steve and I did stand-up there, just in the corner of the video store, and people would come over and they were picking DVDs off the shelf behind us while we're trying to tell
Yep.
jokes. It's a
And we
real
would
thing.
just go, really? That's what you're going to watch?
Yeah.
Made in Manhattan? What the hell's the matter with you? And then we would try to like roast people about their horrible
Yeah.
video choices.
That was a bad gig.
That was a bad show.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I'm really glad we're taking this time to interview you, Stephen, and learn more about you.
Stop it. I'm sorry.
If only we had a special guest, then
No,
we could learn more about
jeez.
this.
There is something nostalgic about having to go to a store and make a decision and pick something and then go home and put it on.
Yeah.
We don't have, and my children will never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Now
like
it's just
my
instant
father talking
gratification
about
on
walking to
everything.
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you rented a bad movie back then, you're trapped.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Watch the
You're
bad
home.
Watch it.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays like, you just turn it on Netflix, you watch for a few minutes, you go, forget this.
Yeah.
You turn it off. But like back then, you were trapped. You were
Yeah.
that's it. You're
Yeah.
gonna watch,
Entertainment decisions were permanent. Like, I remember we lived in a time before remote controls where, like, you would go to the TV and switch the knob and hope for the best that it was going to be good.
I tried to explain that to one of my kids the other day, and she was just not having
get the
it. Like, that is not real. There was no time where you had to get up to change the channel.
Oh, yeah.
I remember someone telling me that their kids thought they saw, like, reruns on Nick at Night or something, and they were like, what was it like when everything was black and white? Honey, we didn't invent color. It didn't just suddenly things went to color. That's not how it works.
When you saw green for the first time, what was that like? What?
Did you think we guessed on oranges? We were like, I bet these will be orange one day.
So did you do theater when you were in school?
In school, yeah, I did. But I just saw, like, my parents. We had cats named Stanley and Stella when I was a little kid.
So it was part of your life already.
I was often told about acting and had plays in the house, but I wasn't super interested in theater.
Yeah. Did you want to be in TV? Did you want to be on TV and be in movies and stuff?
Yeah, that was interesting to me. And then the first job I ever had.
Wait, hang on, because I have to. This is the thing. We do this on our show.
Okay.
IMDb says it's something we're gonna check and see if it's true.
Almost always wrong.
It's almost always wrong.
Yeah.
IMDb says your first job in television or in movies was on Tales from the Crypt.
Not
Tales
my first job.
Oh, well, IMDb, you suck, you sons of bitches.
Here's the issue, though, I think that IMDb for TV series will date it.
List the date of when the series debuted.
Yes. And
Right.
so if I was on a later episode of Tales from the Crypt.
It'll still be listed ahead. Yep.
Yes. I think that's the
It
issue.
says that this is 1994, and then your next job is 1995. So
My first job was, I think, 93, and it was Boy Meets World.
whoa, wow.
Yeah.
Did you play a bully?
I did.
I could just,
Played a bully.
it just seems like you were the size to play a bully. I don't
Yeah.
know, that just seems like it.
Yeah.
Were you always a big kid?
Yeah.
Were you a big kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There weren't a lot of options
I
at
know,
that
yeah.
age for, yeah.
They're like, we need a bully. Get that Ethan Suplee in here. Let's go.
And as your first experience with work on a sitcom, it was the greatest fucking job you could ever have. You worked very few hours a week, and it was all kind of fun, and then you shot it, and that was that. Then there was nothing hard about it.
Oh, yeah.
What
was that cast like? Ben Savage and those
all
guys?
great, all super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are super, super sweet guys.
Yeah.
Did you repeat your role on Girl Meets World and show up and bully him again?
I didn't.
I would pay to see that.
There was talk about it, but I couldn't make it work.
Okay.
Yeah. My kids wanted me to also, which would have been fun to
Yeah.
do that.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
That's cool. It says, so then first job it says on here is Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
So
Liars.
So when you
Liars.
got Boy Meets World, like how did that come about for you? Like had you been auditioning for a while, or was it just sort of like
I was in an
thing, or-
acting class, and then the acting class would have, like, here's how you get an agent. You get a headshot, and you send your headshot to a ton of agents.
back when
and
you go by the labels at Samuel French and
Yes,
send them all out?
exactly.
yeah.
And so I did that, and then I had an agent, and I think there was one day that I had to go. The first day of auditions, it was Melrose Place in Santa Monica at like 11 a.m. and noon in Burbank for Boy Meets World.
Wow.
And I went and did the Melrose Place audition, got a call from my agent. They want you to do Melrose Place. And I'm driving to Boy Meets World, and then he calls back and says, oh, they didn't realize you weren't in the union. They're not going to pay to get you in the union, which was really depressing. This was day one of auditions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go to Burbank, read for Boy Meets World. As I'm leaving, they say, you don't leave, you have to read again. And I was like, wow, so I fucked it up or something, because I didn't know what that meant. Yeah. Then I went back in, and there were a ton more people, which got me super nervous, read again. And then as I left that time, they said, you start work tomorrow.
And how old were you then?
Wow.
16 or 17.
Wow.
Jeez.
So your first day, you booked 2 roles.
Well, really only one. Melrose
Well,
Place didn't want
On
to.
a technicality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a technicality,
We're
man.
giving you credit for that one.
Yeah, I
yeah.
give you credit for Melrose Place.
That's
That's a
IMDb won't.
Well, screw them.
Well, I could go on IMDb and add you on there, and they won't even know.
That's
Clearly
very
they're
true.
They would
wrong
do
about
it.
everything
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that was day one.
People don't realize I was not on Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Tell us a few shows you want to be on, and we'll put you on.
Yeah, we'll just put you on the shows.
Exactly. Game of Thrones.
Do you want to be on The Wire? Do you want to have been on The
Yes.
Wire? I can put you on The Wire.
Yes.
So here's what's interesting is you look at something like you look at this the way that it's laid out, and it's like, okay, you go and you do Boy Meets World, right? Then you do an episode of Sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you like better, Tia or Tamara?
Yeah,
You got to pick.
Pick
one.
Pick one.
I couldn't possibly.
Come on.
Stranded
I don't
on a
play
desert
favorites.
island.
I have
I'm a
daughters.
Tamara
You
guy.
can't pick
I don't know if you
favorites.
know that. I'm more
You're
of a Tamara.
stranded on a desert island, and you can only bring
Tia!
or Tamara.
Oh, all
Tia.
right. You
Fair.
keep Tia, I'll keep Tamara. And then it just jumps to Mallrats. How do you make the leap? How did you make the leap from being on a couple shows that were basically like Disney or ABC family type shows to then being in Kevin Smith's film? Like, how did that happen?
That just an audition. And then that was another bizarre story that I felt very lucky too. Don Phillips cast that, and Don Phillips just takes meetings. He doesn't have you read. You come in and sit and talk with him, which was great because auditioning is brutal. And so you have a conversation with him, and based on that, he has you come back to read for the director. So I met with him, went back to read for the director, and then, and I don't know if he still does. I don't even know if he's still casting movies. I think he might have passed away. I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't. He would do these pizza parties. So after however long of casting, on a Saturday, all the top 3 or 4 people that were in contention for a role would show up at his office. It was, I mean, this was like,
That's
you
a
know, you
weird-
show up, and he would do mix and match reading sessions over the course of the whole day, serve all the actors pizza. So we had a day where every young actor you've ever seen before, Jason, the 3 people reading for Jay Muse's role were Seth Green, Breckin Meyer, and Jay Muse.
Wow.
Reading for the role of Jay Muse.
Oh, my God.
And they went in, and we all had seen Clerks, and they were kind of like, shit, man, I don't feel right about reading for your
a
part,
guy in
but
front of the
I
guy.
kind of have to, yeah.
And it was his name in the script. Like,
Jay.
Yeah.
It was
God.
Jay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to get it.
yeah.
Yeah, because it was a big. Mallrats was a big step up from Clerks.
Yeah, it was a
Budget-wise,
studio.
yeah.
Like there were suits involved in who's going to be in this movie. But
That was basically a test to see if they were going to murder Jay Muse
Yeah.
to get the role.
yeah.
You know?
So Don Phillips comes out of his office, and he has a crowd of 30 young actors sitting there, all the girls, and 3 people for every role, and says all roles are open. No matter what you read for prior, you may be reading for something else today, except the role of Willem. Ethan Suplee is playing Willem. Ethan, don't leave because you have to read with other people. And I was like,
Nice.
holy shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, which was like the greatest.
That is
so
amazing.
I went from total anxiety to like, fuck yeah. But then I realized
And
I
pizza.
couldn't blow it. I could still get fired
Yeah.
if I did a shit job.
That's like,
Right.
I remember hearing about how that's how Coppola did. What's the S.E. Hinton book? Rumblefish or the other one?
Oh, The Outsiders.
The Outsiders. When he was making that film, apparently he got like it was like Ralph Macchio and Rob Lowe and like every young actor, and there were like Tom Cruise was in the room and all these people were there, and they just traded parts and they read all in a circle.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
Just
say he
trading off
made
roles.
them rumble.
Made them fight
parts.
for the part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just like I guess the way some of these people like to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. It was kind of wonderful knowing that I had the part, that I
Yeah.
wasn't competing with other people, but
What you describe is a dream scenario for every overweight boy in the world.
Yeah.
to the moment you get there, someone goes, "You got the part.
Yeah.
There's free pizza, and now you're going to read with a bunch of beautiful women."
it was insane.
It doesn't get much better than that. Wow.
Yeah,
My God.
that was a trip. So that was my first movie.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
What was Kevin like back in the day?
Super
to,
nice
to work with. Yeah.
Super nice. Yeah, great guy.
What a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He still is very, very
Yeah.
nice, right?
Was
Good
there?
dude.
Did it seem like there was a lot of pressure on him from the studio, having come from him making this independent film where he could do whatever he wanted for like no money? Obviously, with Clerks, what was it, $25,000 the budget on that?
Yeah.
Something like that. So he made this film that was very good, and then he comes across, and all of a sudden the studio's the one putting the money in. Like, was there a lot of pressure from the outside on that film?
It didn't feel that way. The only studio person that I knew to be there was Jim Jacks, who's a fucking phenomenal producer, has produced some really stellar movies. He has passed away, unfortunately, but he was the only guy there. And, you know, this was my first movie, so I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. I do know that it changed. The version that the script that we went and shot became lighter. It was a little bit darker, the first version. But I don't know if that was in the editing process or when that happened.
And that was that was also your first. Was that your first time meeting or working with Jason Lee as well?
That was not my first time meeting him. We had the same manager, so we actually drove to that pizza party together.
Wow.
Yeah, Jason Lee at that time lived with Giovanni Ribisi's sister. Marissa. Yeah. So I knew him through them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then you guys have worked together.
I mean, we did
again,
100
yeah.
episodes of My Name is Earl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you worked on other movies together as well.
Did we?
Yeah.
Wait, before we move on to other
Sure,
movies,
sure. No, I know. We got to still talk about
I
Mallrats.
have to
Okay.
ask,
Yes.
was it actually a painting of a sailboat?
I never looked. I am able to see those things. It's
Yeah.
not hard for me, but I
Right.
wanted to not be seeing it. So
okay.
I was trying to mimic what the relaxed state you do with your eyes,
Yeah.
but not do it. So I never saw it. I mean, later, Kevin showed me one and I looked at it and I saw a sailboat, but this was like maybe even years later.
Right.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. I never.
So we'll never know.
We'll never know if it
Yeah.
actually was.
We'll never know. I mean, you could
It's in some
freeze
prop
frame
house
it.
somewhere.
I'm sure you could freeze frame it now and see.
Do you think it would work through TV?
Somebody should be able to do that. Yeah.
With Blu-ray
Someone do it
technology,
and let us know.
if there's like a 4K version of that movie that comes out,
Yeah.
then
There
we'll
we
be
go.
able to do it.
Probably.
Yeah.
You like where did you guys shoot that movie?
We shot that in a mall outside of Minneapolis. Eden Prairie, I think, was the town that the mall was in. And the mall had come on rough times. It wasn't Mall of America because we went there, which is insane. They have a roller coaster inside of it. But it was like the shit mall in that town.
So great.
And half the stores were closed. So our dressing room would be like an old closed down store, and they would just paper up the windows and you'd go in and that was your dressing room. You know, we didn't have trailers, but we had the run of the mall. There were still a couple open
That's gotta
stores.
be so much fun, man.
It was fun, yeah.
That seems like a really, really good time.
Yeah.
Because, and then, just as an actor, too, to be on a set like that where every which way you look, it feels 100% real. Like, that's got to be.
Now, did
You're
they,
in a real mall, yeah.
Did they just shut down this mall while you filmed the movie, or were you filming at night while the mall was open during the day? Or?
We did a ton of night shooting. I think for the big stuff, when they do the dating show and all that was all night. A lot of my stuff was at night, but there were scenes done certainly where you had to tie in like them entering and exiting the mall in daylight. So there were some points when they were shooting and there were people shopping at the mall because it wasn't desolate. There were still open businesses in the mall.
Yes, that's like when they did Dawn of the Dead. They filmed that at the Monroeville Mall outside of Pittsburgh, and they would just shut down the mall at night, and then a bunch of zombies would take over the mall. And then I remember hearing that there was like a photo booth in the mall, and people would go in and take pictures of themselves in zombie makeup, and then just leave them around the mall from the photo booth because it's like 1976 or whatever. They're filming it in Pittsburgh, and people hadn't really seen zombie movies at that point.
Right.
So then it was just like people walk around, they're like, ugh, like seeing photos randomly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When you were on that set and doing that film, did you feel nervous at all about doing your first like big studio movie? Like, was there any? Did you like? Has there ever been a point in time? And even aside from that movie, has there ever been a point in time where you were on a set, you're doing a movie, and you're like, oh my God, this is such an enormous deal that you kind of panic or you get it freaks you out a little bit? Has that ever happened?
I didn't. I think I was not. I was just kind of like it was all so new to me. I wasn't thinking in terms of that. So there weren't big nerves for that movie. I was also really young. I was a kid, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm just here doing a movie. Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm doing a movie with people who had done one movie on a credit card prior to that.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of in the same, like, oh my God, this is a big movie, you know, and we've taken over a hotel and a mall, and, you know, everybody's being given rental cars, and I'm a teenager, you know what I mean?
Oh my Lord.
I didn't have it then. I since often will feel like I'm on the verge of being fired. And then you shoot a little bit, and you kind of go like, okay, well, they can't fire me now. You know, it costs them a lot of money to fire me now.
Change the script now.
Yeah.
You're like, day one, can we just shoot something with me in it? I don't care
let's
what
just
it is.
go. Get it in the can.
Get it out of
I'll do background in this scene for right now. Okay, that's fine.
Establish me.
Now, that movie doesn't really get credit for it, but it sort of started the Stan Lee cameo in movies.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
did you
That
get
was
to
it.
meet him during that?
Yeah. Yeah. He did not give a shit about meeting me.
Really?
Not at all. But I did meet him.
He wasn't into it?
No, he did not care at all about meeting me. But I remember the night he shot, pretty much everybody went to the set to meet him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And that was the middle of the night, and they shot him on a bridge in the mall. It was really cool.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You and then you continued working with Kevin. You worked with him on Chasing Amy as well, which was pretty soon after that.
Yeah. There was a version of Chasing Amy that he wrote that took place in a high school. So it was like all skewed younger. And in that version, I would have been the lead. Like, I remember the first time he started talking to me about it, he was like, we're going to do this movie. This was prior to Mallrats coming out. Mm-hmm. We're going to do this movie, Chasing Amy. It's going to be awesome. It's about this and this and that. You're in high school. And, you know, I'm still a teenager, so it's not that big of a stretch. And then I think Mallrats came out, and, you know, it all got shuffled around, and he made the whole thing older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. How was that? Was Chasing Amy a good time as well?
Yeah, Chasing Amy. I mean, I worked for one day. I went to New Jersey and hung out with them, and we shot for one day, and it was much different than Mallrats because the budget for Chasing Amy was like $250,000 or something, very small, like a fraction of the $5 or $6 million that was spent on making Mallrats. So for that, it was like, you know, no rental cars and, you know, no per diem, and you fly out to...
No pizza party.
Yeah, nothing like that. Fly yourself out to New Jersey and do this movie.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you drinking over there, Steven?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the show with that loud sip, but I'm drinking Fireball whiskey, the greatest whiskey in the history of the world.
I agree.
I love Fireball whiskey. I mean, I can share some with you guys if you guys want some.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I always bring Fireball whiskey because it's an instant party. It's where the party gets started, and it's sometimes where the party ends because you drink it until you're just, you know,
flying high
and hanging tough.
Yeah.
You know,
like if you're in a boy band.
Yeah. Absolutely. Here, you take a shot.
Okay.
There you go. Whoa. Hey.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That's so good, right? Hey, Glazer, you take a shot. Take one. Take a shot.
Oh, it helped my sunburn.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I feel great.
Man, I'll tell you what. There's nothing better for a good afternoon than a shot of Fireball whiskey. The greatest thing to come out of Canada since me. All right, let's get back to the show. After Chasing Amy, you made the leap to American History X. which is pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
That is a totally.
It's a huge shift in tone.
Shift in tone.
Yeah, like you went from light sort of romantic comedy types with those to a really serious drama with Edward Norton, who just seems like he's serious all the time, and
that movie is it's an incredible film. Like,
very intense.
Very intense. What was that like doing a film like that? Or how did that come about? Can you talk about
just auditioned? Just went to, and that was a series of auditions. That wasn't just like one audition and you've got the part. That was reading for the casting director, reading for the director, reading for the studio. That was a bunch of auditions. And I think I finally got the part. I was reading with the writer, and there was a question of, can you be intimidating? Because I'm not really an angry, mean, hateful person.
Yeah.
So, and the writer's a big dude, and I think it was his concern that I couldn't be intimidating. And the character's got to be, while he's kind of an idiot, he's also an intimidating guy.
Yeah.
And they told me all this, and I was like, okay, so I got to amp it up or something. And I like picked the writer up and threw him against the wall, and like really, and was like, I'll fucking intimidate you if I have to intimidate you. And then that was that movie.
So is your recommendation for young actors they should go into the room, pick somebody up, and throw them against the wall, and they'll get the part?
I mean, if that's
if they're
what the
telling
part
you,
calls
hey, you
for,
got to do what you got to do. You're not intimidating.
Yeah. If they're saying we think you're a little bitch, you better pick somebody up and throw them against the wall very fast.
Look, kids, if you're going out for Dog with a Blog, go in, pick somebody up, throw them against the wall.
That show's already canceled.
Is it? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you don't need to worry.
I don't know
about
anything
anymore.
about kids.
You don't have to worry about Dog with a Blog, Ethan. Right.
I remember being blown away by that movie, and your character. I'd met that dude in high school like a number of times where I was like, it's like a lot of it is just rhetoric. He's not like really believing that, but it's like, this is the group that took him in.
Yeah.
So he's going to be this way, you know? And it's like, it was, really kind of, and I felt that way about most of the characters. It was tragic that group had taken them in, and you were like, these would be great people if someone else had included them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that a case where like you read the script and you were like, do I really have to say this? Like, does there anything like that ever go through your mind when you're doing something like that where it's like, I have to say this? And
well, it was a weird thing because the director had us meet with people who actually who felt that way.
Wow.
Which was super uncomfortable. That was super uncomfortable. And, in meeting with them, they really want you to get it right. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to, you can't say to this person who's potentially violent, you understand that we're exposing you. We're not doing you, we're not, propping you up. We're trying to make people look at you in the light of like, this exists and this is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably they show their kids the first 45 minutes of the movie and then turn it off and they're like, look at this great movie about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so saying those things, while it's definitely uncomfortable to say them because it's so repugnant, you also want to communicate that this is out there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think what you did in that movie, and I think what that movie did is a really terrific, great thing, and it opened a lot of people's minds up to something that they may have thought was past. That was is still currently a situation.
Now more than ever.
Now more than ever.
Seriously, in California too, where it's like, you think, oh, this is only going on in certain areas. No, it's going on pretty much everywhere.
When I was 13, 14, I was super into ska and reggae and stuff like that. And we would, at shows in the Valley and even in Hollywood, there would be guys from Orange County who would drive up.
And that sort of thing.
And we would fight with them in the parking lot. And then... so that was my interaction with people like that. I knew they existed.
Yeah.
And so the chance to do this movie was even tenfold more important to me because I was like, these people aren't getting the attention they deserve. They should, they should be shamed for their behavior and their actions, and that's not happening. And let's talk about that.
Who did you have to spend the time with most? Like who like actor wise? Like who did you work with the closest? Was it Edward that you worked
Norton?
with?
I think we had the most scenes together. Yeah.
How does he prepare? Like, is he a method guy? Like, does he get super deep into character? Or what was he like on that set?
He had a lot of ideas. They weren't so much directed at me. I was kind of left alone in that sense. I remember he was just lifting a lot of weights and trying to get big for it, get muscular, because he was pretty thin. He's a lanky guy, and I remember, in between takes, he's lifting weights and stuff like that and doing push-ups, which at the time for me, I was like, fucking exercising? What the fuck are you doing? I didn't know from exercising back then.
Yeah. You know who else was in that film that I'm a huge fan of is Fairuza Balk.
Yeah.
Who I don't think gets enough credit and doesn't work enough. Like, I'm such a big fan of her.
She's awesome.
What was she like to be around?
She was really cool. I didn't have a lot to do with her. I think we were on set a couple times together, and she was just very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a terrific. Who was the director on that?
Tony Kaye, a real mad genius guy who wound up having a lot of fights with the studio during the editing process, and I think even put $1 million of his own money into reshoots.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then at one point, wanted the whole thing to be narrated by a homeless woman, and the studio was kind of like, that's a different movie.
Yeah. Whoa.
That was wild. That was wild. But I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, no. It's a terrific film. It really is. Let's move on down. I know that you were in Dogma and you did a voice in Dogma. Who did you do the voice of in that movie?
The Golgothan, the shit demon.
You did? Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So once you work with Kevin, did it feel like did he just keep bringing you
You're
back?
sort of just in the family.
Yeah, it was kind of like, what's Ethan's part in this movie? Okay, in this movie, and then he produced a bunch of movies, and I would do random stuff in them.
Yeah. One of my favorite films, which is a ridiculous movie, is Tom Green's film Road Trip, which you were in. You did a little something.
That was a really bizarre thing. I read for Tom Green's part, and then got Remember the Titans, which I think ultimately is a better movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I went to do Remember the Titans, and while shooting that in Atlanta, Road Trip started shooting in Athens, and I was called saying, "Hey, we got Tom Green for that role, but we're putting together all the people he's touring, and they're all just local people, and we want somebody with some experience to come and do some riffing with him, some improv with him. Will you do that?" And I was like, look, I'm shooting nights on a football movie, and Athens is a couple hours away from Atlanta, so I guess in theory it could work, but I mean,
It's a marathon.
yeah.
Schedule's very tight.
So I would go from shooting Remember the Titans at night, there would be a car at set, they would drive me to Athens, and day one I got out to set, and Tom Green is doing his thing, and I start improvising with him, and he goes, "So what? That's not in the script. What are we doing here?" and the director was kind of like, "Yeah, okay, so just say what's in the script." And I was like, "Why am I fucking
Why are you here? Yeah.
I worked all night, and I'm here to do improvising with Tom Green, and I shouldn't be here. I should not be. He was not into it.
Oh my God,
He
that's
was
so funny.
not into it at all.
Let this guy do it. Why do I have to drive 2 hours?
Yeah, this is psychotic.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Have you guys ever seen each other or worked together since?
No, and I don't necessarily think it's his fault. They didn't prepare. Like,
didn't
he
tell
was
him.
not given the same
Sounds like
pitch
they
that I was
sprung,
given.
sprung it on him.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
It's not in the script.
Yeah. What is he saying?
What is this madness?
Yeah.
Because you think of him as just being a guy who could just roll with it.
Yeah.
That his
would
whole
have
career
thought.
is just him screwing with people. Like
Yeah.
you'd figure he'd be into it. But,
Yeah.
That's so funny. And so you got to work with Denzel Washington twice then.
Three times.
Three times? What other
times.
movie?
We
I-
almost became the Coreys.
Oh wow! Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
could see that. I could
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, because you worked with them on Remember the Titans and John Q. What other one are we looking
Unstoppable.
at? Unstoppable! Holy crap!
Yeah.
So you have like a relationship, like you know this man. This is you guys know you've worked.
I don't know
together.
if anybody can really know Denzel.
What-
but if
so-
anybody does, I guess I do.
Wow.
And Unstoppable was a Tony Scott.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was he like?
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so awesome. What a great guy.
So badass.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He was
is
an amazing
amazing.
director.
Seriously, what an incredible guy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
did he seem troubled at the time when you were working with him?
Not
or
at all.
Just seemed
Not
all
from
together? Yeah.
not from anything I could see. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. There's a film that you did that is like it's there's a point in time where I was living. I think we all kind of did this at one point in time where like you're living in some shitty apartment and you got like no money, but you got like a couple DVDs and you just watch those DVDs again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I was living in some shitty apartment in San Diego, and I had a couple DVDs, and one of them was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Amazing.
Such an amazing film.
Yeah.
One of them was Office Space, and one of them was the movie Blow.
Yeah.
And so I watched Blow like a bajillion times
Yeah.
at some point in time, right? That you're fantastic in that movie.
Thanks.
But what an extensive and like crazy, that must have been crazy working on something like that, like especially with someone like Johnny Depp. Like what was that film like?
That was an awesome experience. It was just fun, That was one of the few times that in between takes they would turn on music and Ted Demme really tried to create an atmosphere. And when we went to when we shot in Mexico, we all stayed together and had dinner together every night. And he really curated a solid group of guys and girls and people to work together. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Now, at what point?
Fuck, I keep getting bummed out. All these people have passed away.
I know.
Johnny Depp passed?
No,
Yeah, Johnny
Johnny's
Depp.
still alive.
I was like,
Ted Demme
Did that
passed
just
away.
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
Scott.
All these people that hired him have passed
Minghella.
away. That's the
It's my
problem.
fault.
it's your
Yeah.
fault.
It might
Ethan.
be.
It's
It
you
may
hire
be.
Ethan
Fuck.
Suplee, and then your days are numbered. It's
Shit.
you're like The Ring.
It's like
I mean, we're going back to the 90s.
Yeah, it was a long time
Long
ago.
time
That's
ago.
not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Time.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
Not my
probably time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
Most
what
likely
it
not
is.
your fault.
Most likely.
It could be my fault.
It's a chance.
Did
yeah.
you
Back
throw-
to the human
Possibility.
skulls.
Flashback to you dropping off like cream cheese and cigarettes at their trailers. Thanks for getting me the part.
Like you didn't throw all of them against the wall, did you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. Oh
Just
my
checking.
god.
Oh.
So at some point during this period of time, before My Name Is Earl, because that's all kind of coming up into the same time period here. At some point in here, you lost like a large amount of weight.
Yeah.
How much did you lose?
Let's see. Like close to 200 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how is it that you picked it up, Stephen?
Well, I'm very good at things. And, one of those things is
cake.
Cake. Yeah, I'm very good at cake and cooking. But how did you how did that happen?
It was
Magic.
a real fucking
gypsy cursed you thinner.
real story. The
Did you say a
impetus.
gypsy cursed you thinner?
Yeah, from the Stephen King book.
Ah, yes. From the old Stephen Kings.
In fairness, like I was not like in Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
I was way too big to be playing football, but it's high school, so they kind of got to let everyone on the team. That's how I justified it.
Right.
But I never really thought about losing weight. Like it wasn't something that I
priority.
dwelled on. Yeah. And
Well, also you were a working actor.
Yeah.
And you'd been a working actor at that size for a long time.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really make sense to.
And you kind of feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it. If
Yeah.
you're getting work, yeah.
I mean, I just never thought about it. I never thought I should lose weight. It just was not something that, I if anybody ever made fun of me, I would fight them and happily fight them.
Yeah.
I wasn't like getting picked on. I'm a big dude, but I'm also not a pushover. So, the few times when I was a kid that I was made to feel shamed, I would just fight you if you were a dude.
Right.
And other than that, I had girlfriends and, there was never something that I wanted to do that I couldn't do.
Right.
So it wasn't a huge problem in my life. Prior to Cold Mountain, I was in talks to do a movie, a Robin Hood movie with Jim Caviezel, and I was going to play Little John, and it was all set to go, and then it fell apart. And on one of the flights to Romania to make Cold Mountain, I ran into Jim Caviezel in the airport. We had never met, but we knew who each other were because we were going to do this movie. And then on the airplane, we were both flying to Frankfurt and then catching different flights to different random Eastern European cities. And he got up and came and sat with me on the airplane. And for 6 hours, talked to me about how, and I didn't really understand it at first. I thought maybe it was because I was drinking in the lounge or something like that, but talked to me about how in his life he tries to emulate Jesus Christ, and finally got to the point of, you're not doing that. You're not emulating Jesus Christ. And
Is this before he played him in the movie?
yes, but he was super into
He was
Jesus
method
Christ.
acting before he even got the part.
And look,
yeah.
what I took away from it, and basically it was like, you're unhealthy. You look at you're not walking the right path. Now, it has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with like, I'm going to make Jim Caviezel right. I got off the plane and thought, I never want anyone to feel that they can have that conversation with me again. That was truly, I was like, that will never happen again. Because I was trapped on an airplane for 6 hours listening to a guy tell me basically I'm going to hell because I'm not leading the right life. Now, look, I think it's a very kind thing he did now. I would never do that.
Can we still put that Robin Hood movie together?
Wrong.
But it's amazing how people feel they have permission to do that.
He talked to me for 6 hours.
Like, can we get that Robin Hood movie to happen just so I can watch the behind the scenes making of? Because I want to see that now.
The commentary is like forever long.
I got off the plane and called who is now my wife and cried and was like, this fucking guy trapped me for 6 hours. His wife was on the plane and he left her seat to sit with me. I had an empty seat next to me. And I what do I say? I'm going to go sit in the bathroom for 10 hours? I mean, we're from LA to Frankfurt. And I was like, I don't want that conversation ever again. I need to figure this out.
That's 20 minutes tops conversation.
I mean,
get to the point. And,
you're fat, lose weight, and you're going to die.
Another
Jesus
thing
doesn't love you because you're not.
And this guy on an airplane got up and voluntarily sat next to the fat dude. Nobody does that on an airplane.
Jim,
That's
another
very
thing
true.
Jesus doesn't do is jaw ass people on a plane for 6 hours about how they're living their life.
I called my wife and she said, we can do this. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go on a diet for, I made a bunch of trips back and forth while shooting Cold Mountain. And she was like, as of now, no sugar, no pasta, no bread. And that was the beginning of it. And then, I just it didn't stop for a long time.
Is that
Good
like?
for
Do
you,
you have like a lot of dietary restrictions to this day, like things that you just don't eat? Or?
I go back and forth. There was a time where I was racing bicycles and actually competitively racing bicycles, and I got super thin and actually looked unhealthily thin, which is weird. That lasted like a week, but it took a while to get there. And at that point, I wasn't working. I don't know. Maybe I didn't give it time, but I felt uncomfortable being that thin. That was like 100 pounds from where I am.
Are you going to have a
now.
conversation with me for 6 hours now?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes, you're
You
very
need to
thin.
put some weight on.
You really do. Need
Yeah.
Matt, your weight has nothing to do with why you're living your life wrong.
Yeah.
You're just living your
Plenty
life
of things
wrong.
I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, I find I'm either gaining weight or losing weight. And so, yes, I have dietary restrictions now and have for a long time, but then they won't last forever, you know.
You and me met at some point at
Weight Watchers?
No,
What was that? With Eric
met,
the
We
trainer.
met through Eric the trainer.
Yeah.
And the reason that I started working out with Eric the trainer was because I had heard that he had worked out with you
Yeah.
and that you had dropped weight working with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, at the time,
Because we were about to have that conversation with Steven for 6 hours. Like you were getting close to 4.
Yeah, I was in the high 300s,
Yeah.
and I was having really bad health problems
Yeah.
during it. Like I was on a lot of medication, and I was having to take all these different types of pills, and I was shooting myself up with insulin and all sorts of shit that like was bad news.
Yeah.
And I was not in California. I was in Vancouver doing a movie, and I didn't have a doctor, so I had to go find doctors, and it was just a mess.
Well,
Like,
and
I was a
his
mess.
dancing really suffered
yeah,
more than anything.
My
That
tap dancing was
that
a
was where you
mess.
could notice.
Yeah.
You know?
I just was missing beats.
Yes, Steven.
I was missing beats.
You were never a rerun.
I was
No.
never- no, I
No,
wasn't.
you were not like
He's the
rerun.
greatest fat dancer of all time.
Yeah, from the lockers, from the
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was like, here's your diet. You don't eat sugar anymore. And you go, and what we do in Hollywood is you find a personal trainer. And she found Eric.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
he's incredible.
great.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
worked
great
out with
trainer.
him today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
really?
like
Oh.
15 years later, I'm still working out with him.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good guy. And
he's so good at making it seem possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Mike
Yeah.
and me went together and did a little fat guy team up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And worked out with him. But it was great. It was great. It was really it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He is. He's
Yeah.
really cool. Then did you feel like once did that affect roles or work for you?
I feel like there's a place I can get to where I'm still the big guy. And so that's the most comfortable place I feel. And so therefore I work, you know, I think it probably did because when I got really thin, but I was also riding a bicycle 8 hours a day. So didn't have time to go and like, let's be an actor. And that lasted for 2 years.
Wow. Well, I mean, look,
Because you can be the healthy fat guy is what you want to be.
Yeah.
You're that guy where like you're a little big, but you're not.
Yeah,
You know,
I
not
was
in
way too
trouble.
big. Jim
Yeah.
Caviezel, in his defense, when he had that conversation with me, I was insanely big, you know. So
what
he
were
was
you
just worried
Do
about
you
me.
remember what you were at your
A
base?
lot heavier than I am
Was
now.
was the airplane just going in circles because it was
Yeah, it
off balance?
And when he sat next to me, it was a fucking wrap.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
Louise.
We busted a tire.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah,
Did he like slap the peanuts out of the stewardess's hand?
I remember the meal happened.
Thou shalt not eat peanuts.
While he was sitting with me, the meal happened, and I was just like, I don't know what to
I
do.
guess I'm not.
I can't eat this while he's sitting here judging me.
I'll have the fish, I guess.
That's amazing.
That would have been great to
Yeah.
just to double down and I'll have 2 meals, please,
Yeah.
and just start stuffing your face. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus, right?
Yeah.
No.
I randomly one day was walking in New York and like walked through the set of Person of Interest and was like, I'm gonna fucking tell this guy. But then it ultimately turned into a thank you, you know.
Yeah.
So it is a thank you, you know. I don't ever want that conversation again, but I appreciate that he had it with me, and I'm not. None of it had to do with me trying to embody Jesus Christ, but I respect his position, you know.
Yeah, and that it wasn't coming from a place of malice or anything like
No.
that.
Didn't something happen to Jim Caviezel while he was shooting Passion of the Christ? Wasn't there like Didn't he get?
Well, he was crucified.
No, like didn't. Yeah, well, I know, but besides being crucified,
Rough.
didn't like something happen? Like, wasn't there like like someone got? There was like an electrical storm on the set or something really. Matt, tell me if you find anything about this.
Our crack team of researchers is about to
see if
look
you
into
figure
this.
anything out.
To the Googles.
Matt's
to
iPhone.
the Googles, Matt. To the Googles.
Yes.
Cold Mountain, by the way, is an insanely good movie.
Oh yeah, man, that was a good movie.
By the way,
Award-winning.
if you type in Passion of the Christ, one of the suggested searches is Passion of the Christ 2.
Really?
The Return.
That's a great film.
Passion of the Christ
also.
2, The Electric Boogaloo. I would watch
man.
I guess technically it would be the return. It would be the-
Yeah. It's hysterical.
and it's not Passion of the Christ. It was a different one that he was.
Oh,
in.
that's right. It was.
Oh no, it was Passion.
it was
of the Christ.
Passion
Yeah,
of the
you're
Christ.
Right, you're right.
You're thinking of the Scorsese one.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Willem Dafoe, my personal favorite Jesus. Willem Dafoe. If I have to pick,
I'm going to pray to
You're
Willem
the
Dafoe.
only person in history that thinks that William Dafoe is the best Jesus.
he's the best Jesus in my
He
opinion.
was a damn good Jesus.
The most terrifing of all Jesus. is
Like
the
we
William
all
Dafoe
agree,
Jesus.
Heston's
It might
the
be
best
because he
Moses.
made me a mixtape with Depeche Mode's "Your Own Personal Jesus" on it. That might have something to do with it.
Oh my god.
Best Jesus and best Green Goblin so far.
Yes. Absolutely. Anything? You find anything yet?
I'm looking. Hold on.
Back to work, Matt.
Back to work,
I'm
Matt.
still looking.
Come
Come on.
on, pull it
Laughing
together.
and joking. and
Keep going.
When
Let's talk about Earl while I
you're
look.
doing Cold Mountain, that movie won Oscars. Yeah,
Yeah, I believe
big.
so.
That's a big.
Yeah.
That's a big movie.
Yeah.
That's a big.
That's the silliest sentence you ever. That movie won Oscars, right?
Won Oscars.
That was a big movie.
It's a big movie. Huh?
movie. It's like my granddad talking about movies.
Yeah. You did a bunch of movies, huh? Some sort of things with the.
That movie won an Oscar. That's a big movie.
What are the cameras involved? Something like that.
I have done my research.
All right.
And I will read to you from movieaccidents.wordpress.org.
Okay, read it.
A few of the accidents that occurred include Caviezel suffering from hypothermia while shooting in the winter, as well as pneumonia, a dislocated shoulder, and accidentally being thrashed during a whipping scene. Although these mishaps appear brutal, one accident involving Caviezel and assistant director Jan Michelini was so unexpected that it was actually considered a sign from God. Both Caviezel and Michelini were struck by lightning during the filming of the scene of the Sermon on the Mount.
There we go.
Luckily, neither were injured, although this was the second time that Michelini had been struck.
Well, there you go.
Michelini's should play the lottery, man.
Yeah.
I know,
Two
right?
times.
I hope they caught that on film. Jesus getting struck by lightning.
Right?
Yeah.
That if that's not in the movie,
Oh
why
my
are we
God.
here?
What's the
You
point?
know,
What's
what
the
are we
point
making?
of any of this?
Deleted scenes.
When you finally got a chance when you and Jason Lee go off and you start making this wonderful television show and you start spending all this time together, was this I'm jumping past Butterfly Effect,
Okay. That's
which
fine.
by the way
We should.
is a terrifying movie.
Yeah.
Like that movie gave me nightmares.
I think the word starts with tear that I think about that
no,
movie.
that's not a bad movie.
It bummed me out, but in a good way. Like, if that makes, I wouldn't put that on the poster or anything. But
This movie bummed me out in the best possible way.
Roger
The
Ebert,
Butterfly Effect. It'll bum you out.
In a good way.
In a good way. In the nicest
it's
possible
a big
way.
picture.
Yeah. It won Academy Award.
It got awards and things. Ain't that correct? Was that the first movie that was Cold Mountain the first movie that you'd been in that had won Oscars and was
Yeah, I think it's the first one that won. Edward Norton was nominated
Right.
for American History X, but
of course.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a big my God.
That's a big movie.
That's a big movie. I keep
The other
saying
one
it
was a
again.
big movie too. It's
I know, my
didn't
God.
win, but it got nominated.
Well, you got the Nicole Kidmans, right? Who else is in there? The Renee Zellwegers.
It's reminding me of my dad who insists that George C. Scott is in everything.
Yeah.
George C. Scott was in it.
He's been dead for 15 years.
I'm
No,
pretty
George
sure
C. Scott was in
he
Deadpool.
He did a scene
He
in
was Deadpool.
pretty
He
sure
was
he's in
dead
the movie.
in Deadpool.
Did you spend a lot of time with the Nicole Kidmans and the Renee Zellwegers and the Jude Laws?
We all kind of were in Bucharest. No, in Bucharest we were in a massive hotel. So unless you were working with them you didn't run into them. But then when we moved up into the mountains, they had us in this bed and breakfast that kind of just got taken over by the cast. So everybody who's in the movie was in and out of this one bed and breakfast. So at that point, we spent time together. Yeah, like Thanksgiving dinner, Nicole Kidman cooked the turkey.
Wow.
Wow, my God.
Is she a good cook?
The turkey was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where she got a turkey in the mountainside of Romania, but she found a turkey.
She's Nicole Kidman.
Might
She
have
can
been
make it
flown
happen.
in from
she may
America.
have got
yeah.
one flown in for it.
Yeah,
That's
damn
possible.
good.
It might have even
turkey.
been an Australian turkey they flew in.
was gonna say,
That's the power
Yeah,
she
free
has.
range.
She's Australian. She might have hunted it.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
What about Zellweger? What was
Really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Funny lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found spending time with Ray Winstone and Brendan Gleeson was the most fun. Just sitting up at night with them. That was a good time.
Oh, that must have been awesome.
Yeah.
Was there any drinking done?
I wasn't drinking. They might have had a sip or two. Yeah.
Do you drink?
No.
No. All right. Well, we do have a present for you.
Okay.
Does your
can-
wife drink? Is she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, well,
Present for
she's
your
a-
wife.
She's a regular boozer.
All right. Well, we have. This is the nighttime show backpack.
Amazing.
It has all of our whole all of our faces on it.
That is awesome.
And then inside the backpack,
Feels that it's not empty.
it's not empty. And inside the backpack, we have a present for your wife. It's a bottle of our finest the finest Canadian cinnamon whiskey in the world. Fireball whiskey.
yeah.
It's the drink of champions.
She's gonna love this. Thank you.
And just a delicious ordeal.
Yes.
A delicious ordeal.
That's
It'll bum you out.
The best possible way.
It's the perfect thing to drink when watching the Butterfly Effect.
Yes. Yes.
So then when you go on to doing My Name Is Earl, and you did many an episode of this.
120 episodes or something?
No, not close to 100. I don't even know if we got to 100, like 98. I
Okay.
think.
And how
96
How
episodes.
many were the like his list on there? How many items were supposed to be on that list? I can't remember what the number was.
I think at some point there were like 250 things on the list. I
Yeah.
mean, the list. I actually don't know if Greg Garcia ever wrote it out, but there were a shitload of things on.
It's like the
list.
Ferengi rules of acquisition, where like there were like 100 of them, and they don't. There's like 40 of them we actually heard about.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's up to that point.
Just like that.
Just like that nerdy reference for 12 of you who remember the Ferengi.
Like, up
rules
to
of
that
acquisition.
point in your career, like it had been, I mean, some TV in the beginning, but then mostly movies.
Yeah.
Was there any nerves or feelings about going to television, or was that just not as big a deal? Were you just like, screw it, let's just go do the show? And especially because it's Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jason. I knew him. The pilot, the script for the pilot. I would always have. There's seasons, pilot season. I don't even know if that happens anymore, but there used to be pilot season. Now it seems like they're shooting pilots all year long.
Yeah.
But this would be like every January. Here's the 200 potential TV shows that will be new this year, and my agents would send me stacks of scripts, and I didn't find any of them to be humorous. I didn't really read a lot. I just wasn't interested or trying to pursue that. That year, my wife was pregnant with the kid who's now 12.
Wow.
And I had kept having to leave town. And like one year, her and the two older kids came to New Zealand and hung out there, but briefly because it interfered with school. And Romania, my wife came out in the beginning of Cold Mountain and stayed for like 2 days and said, I'm never bringing the kids here. You have to come home as much as possible. So I did like 11 round trips to Romania.
My God.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
That's a brutal schedule.
Yeah, it was awful. So for me, it was that point where she's pregnant. She's now not going to want to travel anywhere. And I just said to my agents, I think we got to do TV because that's you're here. It's a real job. You see your kids and your wife every day. And in looking through scripts that year, My Name Is Earl was by far the funniest one that I read. That I didn't read every pilot script, but all the ones that had a potential role for me, that one was the best.
It's a very good show. Like I didn't watch it when it was on just because it wasn't in my schedule. I was doing a lot of open mics at that time.
Moved it around a lot. Too.
But like it was one that when it hit syndication, I watched every episode of the show because it was like a time when I could watch it. I was like, I should have watched this when it was on. This is a great show. Like I really enjoyed it.
I liked it too.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to make. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been
I
so
caught
cool
it on
too.
Netflix and just burned through it
Yeah.
in like a week.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
And
yeah.
getting a chance to work with your friend too.
Yeah.
It did what I
It's a
really
great
liked
situation.
too, where like each episode would kind of showcase a character actor.
Yeah.
You know, and it was mostly about the core cast, but it would kind of bring out someone new and kind of go, this is what this person can do.
Yeah.
You may have seen them do a little thing here or there, but it really, like, I felt like anyone who was on that series, it gave them a leg up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I got to work with my father-in-law, Jeffrey Lewis, who's an amazing character actor. My sister-in-law, Juliette Lewis, who's just an amazing actress. Giovanni Ribisi, Dax Shepard came on the show. We had so many
Like a lot
great
of people that at the time weren't really known at all.
Yeah.
And are now like really starting to take off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love Juliette Lewis.
She's awesome.
She's the sweetest.
Yeah.
I saw you guys together. When did we all ran into
Comedy.
each other at stand up
Yeah.
at when I opened for TJ Miller at the
Yeah.
Laugh Factory.
Yes.
And that was when I saw you guys all there.
Yeah.
And she was so nice.
She's a nice girl.
Yeah, I saw her perform. Did you come with me to that show where we saw her perform as the lead singer of Guns N' Roses?
I did not.
She's a legit
Oh my God, her
rock
voice
and
is
roll
outrageous.
She had,
singer.
she had an album that came out. Like she had a band
the
there,
Licks.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. It was like there was like a night that we went to, and they had the rest of the band of Guns N' Roses aside from Axl. Everyone else was there, and then they just kept.
Oh wait,
up-
oh yeah,
it was
I
for-
did.
for
I was at
charity.
that show. Yeah, because that's the one where Billy Ray Cyrus
Yes,
did.
that's the one.
Paradise City to close out the night.
Yeah, and they it was someone. It was the guy from.
There's a guy from Slipknot.
Slipknot, and so that guy's singing,
Correct.
and then
And
he
then-
goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Billy Ray Cyrus." And then Billy Ray Cyrus comes out with like a tambourine. He's like, "Hey y'all," and everyone's like, "What is going on?" And then they do Paradise City, and he's like dancing around with a tambourine, and everyone in the audience was like, "Why
What
the
are we
fuck
watching?"
is Billy Ray Cyrus playing with the tambourine?"
Yeah.
But that's what you remember.
Yeah,
That's
it
all
was,
we
it was,
remember,
it was
though.
a dolphin charity.
Yeah.
Oh
remember.
God,
Yeah.
I'm so weird. Before we wrap things up, we got to talk about a couple enormous things. A couple things we have to
These
talk
are
about.
big pictures.
These are
a
big,
big
pictures.
movie.
These films. We recently had Henry Zabrowski on our show.
The best.
Who you?
I fucking love him.
He's so damn cool.
Yeah.
And you guys worked together on The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
Good Lord, that movie!
It won awards.
It won awards. It won all sorts of
good
awards and
movie.
things.
Yeah.
What a great film!
What a big movie.
That's
No,
a
did
big
it win
film.
awards?
I don't know.
It probably
I
did.
George
probably
C. Scott
did.
won an award. A lot of people. It was a very big picture.
What a great film!
Very big picture.
Now on the internet, it says that you've known DiCaprio for a long time. Is that true? Did you guys know? Have you guys known
Yeah,
each other prior
long
to this?
time, yeah.
That set must have been the craziest, most fun set to be on. Was it a lot of fun being with all those guys and just messing around? And did it seem like a lot of fun?
Yes, we had a lot of fun. Honestly, for me, I have a wife and 4 daughters, so the kind of fun you might be thinking of only gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
You're
You're like, get down from there.
yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street just seems like, isn't that just Leo's life in general? Like, isn't it just how he lives most of the time is what it sort of seems like?
When figuring out contracts for that movie, there was a nudity clause of you must be nude in this movie, and I was like, nobody wants to see me nude. And they said, listen, everybody has to sign this. So then, in the script, there are multiple orgies, and I'm going like, what the fuck am I going to be expected to do? So as we're gearing up to start rehearsing these orgies, I'm literally having a panic attack because
Right.
Whether, none of my kids are going to see that movie now. They're kids, but one day, if they put it on, I can't.
don't wanna traumatize
I don't want to be in an orgy.
Can we call
never need to be in an orgy.
Can we call Stephen Glickman to be my body double?
I'm in.
And so I just start coming up with what else could I be doing during an orgy that is
It's
not
just as
being
fun.
a part of an orgy. Like, maybe I'm just there filming the orgy or something. But I pitched to Scorsese, like, what if you're coming through and everybody's doing crazy shit and I'm asleep and or reading a book or
Maybe I'm
anything
making sandwiches
that's not,
for the orgy.
And he went for it, and I didn't have to. And that was another one of the greatest days of my life. I did not have to participate in that fucking orgy.
Wow.
Which, by the way,
did
that's
you
the
do?
opposite of every other actor. Is like, they're seen like they're supposed to be reading a book. They're like, what if we came through and I was actually in the orgy instead of reading a book?
Were you reading a book in the scene?
We shot it like 3 or 4 different times, and I've never seen the movie, but I think one of them, I have a cowboy hat on and a sleep mask because we're on a plane, and so I'm asleep. And then one, I'm having a nice conversation with another gentleman. I don't know, that might have another implication, but it's not participating in an orgy.
Sure.
And one, I'm reading a book. So I don't know what was actually used, but I
Have
know
you
I
not
didn't.
watched that movie in particular, or just not watch your work? in
I
general?
don't watch my work, so
Really?
I'm not calling out that.
So like,
movie.
are there like all these movies that we've been and things we've been talking about? Like, have you just not seen most of them?
I've not seen any of them.
So wait,
What?
Wow.
Since when? Like, when did you stop watching yourself?
Like
on
you must
I
have like the
never
first. You never
watched
watched
myself.
since Mallrats. You've never seen Mallrats.
I went
Boy
to the
Meets World.
premiere and walked in and took pictures and then went to the bathroom for 2 hours.
Did you watch Boy Meets World when it was
No.
on back? Wow.
Why?
Because I'm highly critical of myself, and once,
But you're really good.
well, okay, thank you. I
You'll have to take your word for it.
because there's no power to fix anything. I don't want to know that there are any mistakes.
Oh, I get that. I get that. I mean, look, you're not alone in that. A lot of
Yeah.
actors have done that as well. But
Yeah.
that's
It's the opposite. I mean, you still watch yourself at reruns of Big Time Rush from 8 years ago.
Constantly rewatch myself.
Now wait, back to
and
the
cry,
orgy.
and cry most of the time.
Back to the orgy.
Back to the orgy. You were on a plane during the orgy?
We're on a plane. There was an orgy.
You
on
should
a
have
plane.
pitched you and Jim Caviezel talking.
And just with a Bible and talking
Him
about
telling
God.
you about Jesus.
Yeah.
You're not living your life right. Yeah. Look
That's
around.
a great pitch. That's a great fucking pitch.
Jesus,
I bet Scorsese would have gone for that too.
he would have.
Can we get him?
He would have
Is
been
he
into
available?
it. He would have been into it. Okay. One last one. Chance is out right now.
Chance, yes. I have watched the preview for Chance, which I find to be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
look,
that about?
look who's not so self-critical now.
I started Instagram a week and a half ago.
Can people follow you on it, or do you not like
Well, here's the thing.
Do you not look at your own Instagram?
You have
one
to.
of my daughters posts all the pictures.
Okay.
Okay.
But somebody made a fake Instagram account, and so I talked to somebody and said, "Well, I want it's not
How do I
right
do an
that there's
official
a fake
one?"
one. Yeah, I'll do a real one." And they said you have to make a public Instagram account, and then if you can prove that you're really you, they'll take down the fake one.
And they'll give you the blue check mark.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 10 days into.
So which
Instagram.
one is yours?
At E Suplee is the real is
Okay,
is
because there's
actually
underscore Ethan Suplee underscore, and that's fake. And there's Ethan Suplee underscore, and that's fake.
fake. Everything that is not at E Suplee is fake. They're fake.
What about on Twitter? Do you have a Twitter?
Twitter, I'm real. Yes, Twitter is me.
Yours on Twitter is Ethan.
Just
Suplee.
my name. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I got to that before the fakesters could do it.
Well, you
The
had
fakesters.
449
Dirty fakesters.
followers, but now you have 450 followers.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Hey,
Wow.
Look at that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You're the first non-Japanese rabbit I've followed on Instagram in like a month.
Amazing.
Okay, so if people want to follow you in real life, your home address.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to follow you on Twitter,
Twitter.
your Twitter.
It's my name,
is
Ethan Suplee.
ETHANSUPLEE. Okay, and then on
Instagram is very new. I'm still figuring it out. It's a lot of just working out and shooting guns. That's pretty much what we got so far.
You like shooting guns? What kind of guns do you like shooting?
I like the show Chance. I had to learn to be like a real badass, so I got to train with knives and train with guns with like military dudes, and it's been awesome. Yeah, and we just finished the second season and have no idea if we'll do a third, but I actually enjoyed the martial arts aspect of the training I do. So I've continued training.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You look like a badass on that show. Holy crap! Is it amazing? This is amazing. And you were in are you wearing a bulletproof vest?
There may be some pictures of me in a bulletproof vest. Some of the courses
I think we should all have to wear a bulletproof vest.
I agree.
I think it's very cool when you wear a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
And I wore one once. Great experience.
Yeah.
People would see me. They go, "Look at that guy." That guy,
He has a bulletproof
that guy is
vest
wearing a
on.
bulletproof vest
Yeah.
right now.
The cops don't love it.
The cops are not a fan. They're
Why
not a.
do you have
I
this?
don't. Why are you wearing
I
that?
got it on Hollywood Boulevard.
Exactly. Your Instagram is just ESUPLEE.
I mean,
until Instagram.
Until Instagram decides to give me one of the fake accounts that have stolen my name.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. It's all new. Pictures are weird.
They are weird. You started the Snapchatting? You started doing the Snapchatting
That's
yet?
way too millennial for me.
It's very millennial.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm an old man. I have kids in college. It's no Snapchatting for me.
Kids in college.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. How old is your oldest now?
My oldest is 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
21.
She goes to school in New York, and she approves. I do the story. There's a story on Instagram.
Sure.
And that I am in control of. But all of the pictures that go up, she approves because she understands how to do it without making you look like a total idiot.
Wow, really?
I mean,
She's your social media person.
That's really sweet.
She is an official millennial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful in
Yeah.
this career.
Yeah,
You know?
I have one in my back pocket.
Good for you.
Yeah.
They're very hard to figure out. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know?
yeah, gosh.
I'm constantly hurting feelings.
Everyone's
Yeah.
offended by everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Matt, where can people follow you on the internet?
You can go to funnymat.com, find links to everything there, or if you want to tell me how much you love the butterfly effect, even though I don't, you can do that at mattwalkersucks.com.
I like the butterfly
awesome.
effect. I think that Ashton Kutcher
Anything
was,
with Ashton Kutcher, I'm out.
No,
I can't.
look,
I can't.
Wait, no, I do the ranch sometimes.
And
have you
Ashton's
watched
on.
it?
I like him on the ranch, and Danny
Masterson.
Danny
He's
Masterson's
great.
on that show.
Yeah,
haven't
and
seen it.
fucking Sam Elliott, bro, and Deborah Winger.
You got to give that one a chance. Have you watched The Ranch?
I have
tried
not.
watching. All right, you got to watch an episode of that show.
Listen,
you got to
have
check it out.
Sam Elliott and Deborah Winger, Academy
Yeah.
Award, at least
They've
nominated.
been
That's
such
what
a
I'm-
big
what-
show.
Those are
That's a
big
big
shows.
show.
Big shows. Those are big people with big awards.
Yes.
I love that. You got to check that out. However, Ashton Kutcher as Steve Jobs is still one of the funniest things that's ever happened in the history of movie making. If you ever I love that movie so much. It made me laugh so many times.
Is that the one you were up for Woz in? Or?
I was up for Woz in that movie.
I like to imagine Steve
so
Jobs
funny.
tripping on acid.
Yes.
He prefers that version.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a lot more fun of a movie.
Yeah.
He had a lot more fun with that movie
Yeah.
than what's his name?
See, that's the Steve Jobs that decided not to go with cancer treatment and just eat vegetables instead. That's how
Steve
you understand
Jobs.
that Steve
Bad
Jobs.
decision,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
I did like Seth Rogen's version better than Dan Fogler though on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought because Rogen is more fun to watch. I think. I mean, but he's good too. Dan Fogler is very
Yeah.
good. Dan
Great.
Fogler in what's it called? The movie about the mystical creatures and where to find them, Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
that
awesome.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He kills in that movie.
That
And
movie was a lot of fun. I liked that movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Do you watch a lot of movies? Do
I
you
try
go-
to see every movie.
Really?
Except
I
the
try.
ones you're in.
Yeah.
So, but there's a handful that I'm not in.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple. So there's a few.
Here and there.
You
There's
get
a
to see
few.
like 6-7 movies a year, something like that.
Exactly.
No, I will only go to the ArcLight, and I will only sit in one of 8 seats.
I'm the same way.
And
actually.
I will only go during the day on a weekday when there are no other people. My favorite thing is like one other guy that I have to worry if he's going to kill me during the movie, so it increases the tension.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
the best.
Is there a type of movie that you have not done? Like I noticed by looking through your stuff, you have not done like a superhero. You haven't played a you haven't played a superhero yet, have you?
No.
I mean, you were in Fanboys.
Like
I was
could,
Harry Knowles.
Yeah.
He's
I
a
could
superhero
see
of
you-
sorts.
Yeah, yes, but you
Of calories.
If they make
He's a
another,
superhero.
look, they're gonna make another Spider-Man movie. Shouldn't he be the Rhino?
like
That would be great.
playing Rhino or Thing
I
or
don't-
any
Beast.
of these
I
from
don't-
the
Beast.
X-Men.
Oh
I've
my god!
There's a lot
never
of
read
part-
comic books, so you guys are just saying words. I don't know what any of them means. A rhino is an
animal.
African animal.
Yeah.
That's true. What about Star Wars?
Please
or
don't
Star
say that
Trek?
in the audition. Please don't.
What is
I am
this?
aware
Am I playing
that a
an
rhino
animal?
is
Actual
Where
rhino?
are my horns?
Just Gore, the casting director.
Now
and
I
then-
desperately want you to play the rhino just to see that audition.
Is he half rhino, half man?
No,
no,
he's
he has
like
a cyborg suit that gives him powers much like a rhino. Where he can
Right.
run, and he has a horn on his head.
Right.
You know.
That's where the similarities end, I think.
Great. I'm in.
fucking.
But he
nerds,
fights
right?
Spider-Man.
What a
No,
bunch
I'm
of
in. I'm in. I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love that they're making new ones, and so 2 years in a row I've gotten to take my littlest kids on opening day to the Dome with people dressed up as characters, and
That's
that
awesome.
for me is fucking awesome because
Yeah.
that's what my dad did with me in the 70s, I guess.
Well, they're doing young Han Solo now. You could be young Chewbacca.
Okay.
Start that
Okay.
movie. Start
Yes.
it going.
There's
You know?
lots of things you could
Start
play.
campaigning
Yeah.
now for
Yeah.
that part.
I'm
Is
in.
Is that
Sure.
something that you want to do?
You
Do you want to
could
be in a
stretch
Star
your
Wars
range
movie?
and you could be young Yoda.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
Yes, Yoda prior to becoming tiny was enormous.
A great warrior.
But then you'd have to see it. Then
Right.
you'd have to see that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, so I don't want to ruin it, so I don't want to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the big action movies. I actually, right now, though, I mean, okay, I see most movies that come out and I love them. I prefer, I think, what's being made on television because you get 10 hours of content, 13 hours of content.
Yeah.
Much longer to draw out and create the story and develop the characters.
It is. It's kind of like novels now.
It's
like,
fucking great.
Like I was watching Daredevil and I was like, this is so much better than what the movie could do.
Yeah.
Because they can really delve into each of the characters.
Yeah.
and give them a
Everything now
lot,
is
you know?
serialized, and it's like enough already. Can't we just watch a show where you can sit down and watch an episode and not have to watch them all in order?
But they still have that. There's the
Yeah,
Big
there's
Bang
plenty of
Theory is
those.
on.
Yeah, well, it annoys me. They're doing that with Star Trek now, and I'm like, no, don't do that to Star Trek.
You're a
Don't do it to
TV
Star Trek.
fascist. That's your problem.
I am.
You want it all to be
I want it all to
60s,
be-
70s TV.
Yeah.
Yes, the Orville's like that, and I'm really excited about that show.
Every episode is new.
Yeah, it's a
You don't have to have watched everything.
you can just sit down
before.
and watch
You
an
can just
episode.
There's something nice.
You're
to
like,
that,
oh, there's
but-
a weird monster dude sitting on an egg.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can
All
see
right. Mike, where can people find you?
wherever they want. I am at Mike Black Attack on all social media, and I hang out at Nick's Check Cashing sometimes. And so if you happen to have Totino's Pizza Rolls, just give me a call and I'll be over. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with.
Always keep them in the fridge. That's what I.
Yeah.
Always in the freezer for Mike. You can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STPHEN, Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nighttime Show podcast. Ethan, it has been a total honor and a pleasure to be able to hang out with you in your home, with you, chat with you about your career and your life and all the amazing things that you do. And this was super fucking cool. Man.
Thanks for having
so
me.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're the best. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Too bad he won't be listening to this podcast.
I wouldn't want to fuck it up. There's so many
ruin the streak.
corrections. I'd be calling you to do edits. It would be
Yeah.
a total nightmare.
Is there any way you could edit out
Yeah.
all of it?
Yeah,
Like,
just remove my voice.
there's about 40 minutes in there I'm not comfortable with of the 45.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to share it.
Stand up in front of a fireball. Steve Glickman about to rock us all. Nighttime show.
All right, so
Can't
we are
survive
rolling
independently.
If I'm at a restaurant with you, I just sit at a different table. All right, here we go.
because we don't fit.
Yeah. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I'm in a booth and you need a chair.
He's a bad
That hurts
person.
my
He's a bad friend.
He just insulted all of
He's
us.
the worst best friend ever.
What's gonna happen? You guys gonna catch me if I run?
Come on, hit record already.
I already did.
Are we?
This is recording.
This is the intro.
That was the intro.
That was the intro for the
Worst
show.
intro ever.
I might just run that as the intro.
Yeah, just Matt being an
Have
asshole.
you heard that
again.
podcast where a skinny guy makes fun of a bunch of fatties?
Jack Spratt,
Real
his
mean.
3 wives.
And then gets buried in the Hollywood Hills.
Hi, I'm Matt Walker. Welcome to Fat Shaming. Fat Shaming Podcast.
All right, here we go. Ready?